You swipe your card for that $5 latte and feel rich for a moment. But here's the truth that Stoic philosopher Seneca would whisper. That small daily habit is a symptom of something much deeper, a scarcity mindset masquerading as self-care. Seneca, in his Moral Letters to Lucilius, wrote this: "It is not the man who has too little, but the one who craves more who is poor." But here's what most people miss. He wasn't talking about the craving for a latte. He was talking about the craving for the feeling that the latte gives you, the feeling of control, of reward, of being enough for 5 minutes. You don't crave coffee, you crave the illusion of abundance. And that craving, if unchecked, will never be satisfied by any purchase. It's a bottomless well. So the real question is not how do you stop buying coffee, but how do you stop needing the feeling that the coffee gives you? Take Lucia, a graphic designer I once spoke with. She earned $68,000 a year but felt constantly broke. She bought a $7 latte every morning. When I asked why, she said, "It's the only thing I do for me." That's the key. The scarcity mindset isn't about money. It's about permission. She was buying permission to feel worthy, and that permission slip was costing her over $2,000 a year. Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." But he wasn't advocating for deprivation. He was advocating for freedom. When you need a daily purchase to feel good, you are enslaved to that purchase. The scarcity mindset is not about how much you have, it's about how much you think you need. And the measurement is simple. How often do you feel fear when you think about not buying something? That fear is the scarcity whisper, and it's lying to you. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He wasn't speaking from a palace. He was speaking from the front lines of war, cold and hungry. He knew that the emperor is not the one who gets everything. The emperor is the one who needs nothing. And if the emperor can find contentment, so can you. Your latte is not the problem. Your belief that you can't be happy without it is. Here's the deepest insight. The scarcity mindset is a survival mechanism. Your brain thinks that if it stops chasing small rewards, it will die of deprivation. But you live in an age of abundance. The real danger is not scarcity. It's the anxiety of not having enough, which makes you hoard and consume without joy. Seneca wrote in On the Happy Life, "It is not the man who has too little, but the one who craves more, who is poor." He also said, "The mind is never right, but when it is at peace with itself." And peace cannot be bought. It can only be cultivated through the practice of wanting what you already have. Consider the story of Diogenes, the cynic philosopher who lived in a barrel. Alexander the Great visited him and asked if he wanted anything. Diogenes replied, "Stand out of my sunlight." He had nothing, yet he had everything. He didn't need a latte to feel rich. He felt rich because he needed nothing. That's freedom. And it's available to you right now, in this moment, without spending a single dollar. So where does this leave you? Not in guilt about your coffee habit, not in shame about your spending, but in a new relationship with your desires. Every time you feel the pull to buy something you don't need, pause. Ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? Connection, rest, validation. The Stoics called this prohairesis, the power to choose your response. You can choose to feed the scarcity monster, or you can choose to starve it. And every time you starve it, you grow a little stronger. I've seen people who ignored this. They kept buying the coffee, the takeout, the new phone every year, and they never felt satisfied. They felt emptier. Because the scarcity mindset doesn't get better when you feed it, it gets hungrier. They ended up in debt, anxious, wondering why they never had enough. The tragedy is that they had enough. They just didn't know how to see it. Your daily coffee is not the enemy. It's a mirror. It's reflecting back to you the lie that you need something outside yourself to feel whole. And that lie is the only thing standing between you and the peace that the Stoics promised was already yours. If this struck a chord, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Next week, we're going to talk about why your Netflix addiction is actually a form of Stoic premeditation gone wrong. You won't